The basketball world erupted the moment a viral interview involving Angel Reese began dominating headlines. A comparison to Michael Jordan quickly ignited fierce debate across sports media, with fans splitting into completely different camps almost overnight. Some defended Reese's confidence, arguing that every superstar should believe in their own greatness. Others insisted the comparison invited criticism because of Jordan's unmatched legacy. Then Stephen A. Smith weighed in with strong opinions during a televised discussion, instantly turning an already heated conversation into one of the biggest sports stories of the week. Within minutes, clips spread across every major platform, and emotions exploded. Social media became absolute chaos as millions of fans dissected every word. Some commentators argued Stephen A. Smith was simply giving his honest basketball analysis, while others believed his criticism was unnecessarily harsh. At the same time, comparisons between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark once again dominated online debates, with supporters from both sides fiercely defending their favorite star. Nothing beyond the publicly available comments had been confirmed, yet speculation about deeper rivalries, media favoritism, and league politics spread at incredible speed, fueling even more emotional reactions. Behind the scenes, the pressure appeared to be building with every passing hour. Television networks scheduled special discussions, former players offered conflicting opinions, and fans wondered whether this controversy would reshape the public conversation surrounding two of the WNBA's biggest young stars. What initially looked like one controversial comparison was suddenly evolving into something far more emotional. And if the first wave of reactions shocked the sports world, the next twist threatened to divide basketball fans even more than anyone expected. Long before this latest controversy erupted, Angel Reese had already become one of the most recognizable personalities in women's basketball. Her confidence, outspoken interviews, and fearless attitude made her a favorite among many fans while also drawing criticism from others. She embraced the spotlight instead of avoiding it, repeatedly making it clear that she wanted to be remembered as more than just a great player. That approach earned admiration from supporters who celebrated her authenticity, but it also guaranteed that nearly every public comment would be examined under a national microscope. On the other side of the conversation stood Caitlin Clark, whose rise to stardom transformed the visibility of women's basketball. Record-breaking television ratings, sold-out arenas, and constant national coverage followed her almost everywhere. Supporters praised her scoring ability and playmaking, while critics sometimes argued that the media focused too heavily on one player. Regardless of opinion, Clark became one of the biggest names in sports, and every comparison involving her quickly turned into headline news across television, podcasts, and social media. The rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark had already become one of the defining storylines in modern women's basketball. Their memorable college matchups created passionate fan bases that often continued debating long after games ended. Although both players publicly emphasized competition and respect on multiple occasions, online discussions frequently framed every interaction as part of a larger rivalry. Fans analyzed interviews, celebrations, and post-game comments, sometimes assigning deeper meanings that neither player had personally confirmed. The intensity of public interest rarely slowed. Stephen A. Smith had also built a reputation for delivering strong, direct opinions on major sports stories. Whether audiences agreed with him or not, his commentary regularly shaped national conversations. When he discussed controversial topics, headlines often followed within minutes. Some viewers appreciated his willingness to speak openly, while others believed his opinions occasionally intensified already emotional debates. That influence meant any comments involving Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark were almost guaranteed to dominate sports media for days. The controversy gained momentum after widespread discussion surrounding comments comparing Angel Reese to Michael Jordan. Public conversations quickly centered on what exactly was meant, how the comparison should be interpreted, and whether it reflected confidence, ambition, or something else entirely. Different reports and clips circulated online, often without complete context. As a result, some fans believed the comparison had been misunderstood, while others felt it naturally invited strong reactions because of Jordan's legendary status. Interpretations varied widely, and no single viewpoint gained universal acceptance. Social media amplified every emotion almost instantly. Short video clips accumulated millions of views, reaction channels uploaded countless analyses, and fan communities divided into passionate camps. Some insisted Reese deserved credit for believing in herself, arguing that elite athletes often express extraordinary confidence. Others believed comparisons involving Michael Jordan required exceptional achievements before they could be taken seriously. The debate quickly expanded beyond one statement, becoming another chapter in the ongoing discussion surrounding expectations, confidence, and public perception in women's basketball. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's name continued appearing throughout the conversation despite her not being the focus of the original comparison. Many online users began contrasting the two young stars, debating leadership styles, accomplishments, popularity, and media attention. Some believe those comparisons were unfair because each player brought unique strengths to the game. Others argued that public debate was inevitable whenever two of the sport's biggest names occupied the spotlight simultaneously. Regardless of perspective, the rivalry narrative grew even stronger. The media landscape only intensified those discussions. Television programs replayed interviews repeatedly, sports podcasts invited guests with opposing opinions, and headlines emphasized the growing disagreement. Some commentators encouraged viewers to focus on basketball performance rather than viral quotes. Others argued that confidence and public image had always been important parts of professional sports. The conversation became increasingly layered, blending athletic accomplishments with personality, branding, and media influence. Every new opinion generated another wave of reactions online. Then Stephen A. Smith addressed the topic during a widely discussed segment, offering strong criticism that immediately dominated sports headlines. Some viewers believed he was evaluating the comparison strictly from a basketball perspective, while others felt his remarks were unnecessarily blunt. Because his comments reached such a massive audience, they intensified the conversation instead of settling it. Fans on both sides reacted passionately, with many defending Reese's confidence and others agreeing that comparisons to Michael Jordan naturally invite intense scrutiny. As emotions continued rising, attention shifted toward what would happen next. Reporters searched for follow-up reactions, fans refreshed social media for new developments, and basketball analysts debated whether the controversy would eventually fade or continue influencing public discussions throughout the season. With millions of people already deeply invested and every new opinion generating fresh headlines, it became increasingly clear that this story was only entering its most dramatic phase, and the next twist promised to make the debate even more explosive. The controversy reached an entirely different level once Stephen A. Smith's comments began circulating across every major sports platform. Television clips, podcast excerpts, and social media posts spread at remarkable speed, with fans debating not only what he said, but also how his words should be interpreted. Some viewers agreed with his basketball analysis, arguing that comparisons involving Michael Jordan naturally invite extraordinary scrutiny. Others believed his criticism overshadowed a broader discussion about confidence and ambition in professional sports. Within hours, the debate had expanded far beyond a single interview. For Angel Reese, the spotlight became even more intense. Every interview, every social media post, and every public appearance suddenly carried additional significance in the eyes of fans. Supporters praised her willingness to embrace pressure, insisting that elite athletes often speak with supreme confidence because self-belief is part of reaching the highest level. Critics argued that comparisons to one of basketball's greatest legends would inevitably generate strong reactions. Neither perspective disappeared, ensuring the public conversation remained emotionally charged. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark unexpectedly became one of the biggest talking points despite not making the comparison herself. Fans across social media reignited old debates about the two stars, contrasting their playing styles, accomplishments, popularity, and media attention. Some believe those comparisons reflected healthy sports discussions. Others argued the constant effort to pit one player against another distracted from their individual achievements. Regardless of intent, the rivalry narrative quickly returned to the center of national basketball conversations. Sports television seized the opportunity. Debate panels featured analysts with dramatically different opinions, each defending a unique perspective. One side argued that confidence should always be encouraged because legendary athletes throughout history had believed they could become the greatest. Another side insisted that invoking Michael Jordan's name naturally raises expectations to an extraordinary level. These opposing viewpoints created compelling television, but they also intensified emotions among fan communities already deeply divided over nearly every aspect of the discussion. Stephen A. Smith's segment continued generating headlines as more viewers watched the full broadcast and shared short clips online. Some fans believed the shorter viral excerpts lacked complete context, while others argued that the central message remained unmistakable regardless of editing. Because audiences consumed the discussion through different formats, people often reached different conclusions about the same comments. That difference in perception fueled another wave of passionate arguments across social media. Then the conversation took another unexpected turn. Instead of focusing only on the Michael Jordan comparison, online discussions expanded into a broader debate about media treatment. Some fans argued Angel Reese faced unusually intense criticism whenever she expressed confidence. Others responded that every superstar, including Caitlin Clark and many athletes across different sports, receives heavy public scrutiny once they become household names. Those competing narratives quickly became almost as significant as the original story itself. Former players also entered the discussion, offering thoughtful perspectives on confidence, expectations, and the pressures of modern sports. Many noted that great competitors often speak boldly because elite performance requires extraordinary belief in oneself. At the same time, several commentators emphasized that comparisons involving iconic figures naturally invite close examination. These nuanced opinions encouraged balance, but they often received less attention than more dramatic headlines spreading rapidly online. Inside the basketball community, attention gradually shifted back toward on-court performance. Coaches and teammates consistently emphasized preparation, teamwork, and winning games rather than engaging in public controversy. Yet every routine interview still included questions about the ongoing debate. Players frequently redirected conversations toward basketball, but many fans continued searching for hidden meanings in ordinary responses. Speculation often outpaced confirmed information, keeping emotions elevated despite the lack of major new developments. The first major twist emerged not from a dramatic revelation, but from the realization that public opinion itself had become deeply divided. The original comparison was no longer the only issue. The conversation now included media responsibility, athlete confidence, fan loyalty, and the influence of viral clips on national narratives. Different groups interpreted the same events in completely different ways, making it increasingly difficult for any single explanation to satisfy everyone. Social media only intensified that division. Trending hashtags supporting both Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark appeared simultaneously, while reaction videos accumulated millions of views. Some creators encouraged respectful basketball discussions, while others leaned into dramatic framing that generated stronger engagement. The speed of online content meant fresh opinions emerged every few minutes, often before complete context had been widely understood. Emotional reactions frequently spread faster than careful analysis, adding another layer of complexity to the story. As the controversy continued evolving, sports writers began asking a broader question. Had women's basketball reached a point where every viral moment would now become a national cultural debate? Some analysts believe the increased attention represented tremendous progress for the WNBA because more people cared deeply about the league than ever before. Others worried that sensational discussions risked overshadowing remarkable athletic performances happening every night on the court. Behind all the headlines, both Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark continued preparing for games, while fans and media remained captivated by the surrounding conversation. Every performance carried added significance because audiences were now interpreting basketball through the lens of the ongoing debate. Expectations rose with every nationally televised matchup, ensuring that even routine moments would receive extraordinary attention from viewers across the country. Then, just when it seemed the discussion might finally begin cooling down, another wave of speculation swept through sports media. New interpretations, fresh opinion pieces, and renewed comparisons once again dominated headlines. Nothing had conclusively settled the debate, and no single perspective had convinced the basketball world. Instead, the controversy was growing into something even larger, setting the stage for an escalation that promised to test fan loyalties, media narratives, and public perception more than ever before. The controversy entered an entirely new phase as sports media refused to let the story fade. What began as a debate over one comparison had evolved into a larger discussion about confidence, public image, and the standards applied to modern athletes. Every major sports show revisited the topic, while reaction videos and opinion columns multiplied across the internet. Instead of slowing down, the conversation gained even more momentum, with fans dissecting every new interview and every fresh headline for clues about what might happen next. Social media quickly transformed into a non-stop battlefield. Supporters of Angel Reese argued that elite competitors have always spoken with confidence, pointing to countless legendary athletes who believed they could become the best. Others insisted that invoking Michael Jordan's legacy naturally invites intense scrutiny because of his unparalleled accomplishments. The debate expanded beyond basketball, becoming a conversation about ambition, confidence, and how athletes are judged in the modern era. Millions of comments poured in, with neither side showing any sign of backing down. Stephen A. Smith's remarks continued generating reactions long after the original broadcast. Some fans applauded his willingness to express an honest basketball opinion, arguing that analysts should never hesitate to critique public comparisons involving legendary figures. Others believed the discussion became too focused on controversy rather than the broader achievements of today's players. Because his comments reached such a large audience, every follow-up discussion created another wave of headlines, ensuring the story remained one of the biggest topics in sports media. At the same time, Caitlin Clark's name continued appearing throughout the conversation despite her not being responsible for the original comparison. Online debates repeatedly contrasted Clark and Reese, examining everything from playing styles and accomplishments to media attention and fan support. Many observers cautioned against framing every discussion as a rivalry, noting that both players had contributed significantly to the growth of women's basketball. Even so, social media continued fueling comparisons that neither athlete could fully escape. The second major twist came when the focus shifted away from the comparison itself and toward the influence of modern sports media. Commentators began asking whether viral clips, short excerpts, and sensational headlines were shaping public opinion more than complete interviews or full context. Some believed audiences were reacting primarily to edited moments rather than entire conversations. Others argued that the strongest statements naturally become the biggest stories regardless of context. The debate evolved into a broader examination of how narratives spread in today's digital landscape. That realization changed the tone of the discussion. Instead of asking only whether the Michael Jordan comparison was appropriate, analysts questioned how quickly online platforms can amplify emotions before complete information reaches the public. Fans acknowledged that different versions of the same interview often circulated simultaneously, leading people to reach very different conclusions depending on what they watched first. The controversy became a case study in the speed and power of viral media. Meanwhile, WNBA players across the league continued emphasizing preparation and competition whenever they spoke publicly. Most avoided taking firm sides in the debate, instead encouraging respect for fellow athletes and focusing on basketball itself. Their measured responses reflected professionalism, yet they rarely slowed speculation online. Every neutral comment was interpreted differently by different fan communities, illustrating how emotionally invested audiences had become in the ongoing conversation. The national attention surrounding the WNBA also continued growing. Television ratings remained strong, more casual fans followed league storylines, and mainstream sports outlets devoted increasing coverage to women's basketball. Some analysts argued that even controversial moments demonstrated how important the league had become in the broader sports landscape. Others cautioned that lasting growth would depend on ensuring the spotlight remained focused primarily on outstanding performances rather than constant public disputes. As another week of games approached, anticipation reached another level. Fans promised to analyze every interview, every post-game comment, and every interaction between players with renewed intensity. Although no dramatic new confirmed development had fundamentally changed the underlying story, the emotional stakes remained remarkably high because public opinion was still deeply divided. The original comparison had sparked a debate that now extended far beyond one statement. By the end of the week, one question overshadowed everything else. Had this controversy permanently changed how fans, media, and analysts would discuss Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and the next generation of WNBA stars? The answer remained uncertain. But with emotions still running high, social media continuing to erupt, and new headlines appearing almost daily, many believed the biggest public reaction was still waiting just around the corner. The emotional fallout spread far beyond one television segment. What started as a debate over Angel Reese's comparison quickly became one of the most talked about conversations in basketball. Sports networks revisited the topic daily, podcasts invited guests with opposing viewpoints, and social media remained flooded with reaction videos. Every platform seemed to have a different interpretation, leaving fans more divided than ever. Rather than fading from public attention, the controversy evolved into a larger discussion about confidence, expectations, media narratives, and the future direction of women's basketball. Angel Reese found herself at the center of an emotional storm. Supporters praised her confidence and argued that believing in yourself is a defining characteristic of elite athletes. Critics responded that comparisons involving Michael Jordan naturally attract extraordinary attention because of his unmatched legacy. Every public appearance by Reese generated fresh headlines, even when she was simply focused on basketball. Fans analyzed interviews, body language, and social media activity, often reaching completely different conclusions based on the same publicly available moments. Caitlin Clark also remained deeply connected to the conversation despite not making the original comparison. Online communities continued contrasting the two stars, debating accomplishments, popularity, leadership, and playing styles. Some observers argued those comparisons unfairly placed unnecessary pressure on both athletes. Others believed rivalries have always been part of sports culture and naturally attract fan interest. Regardless of opinion, every nationally televised game involving either player carried additional emotional weight because audiences viewed them through the lens of the ongoing debate. Stephen A. Smith's commentary continued echoing throughout sports media. Some fans believed he had simply expressed an honest basketball opinion that many people already shared. Others felt his criticism intensified an already emotional situation by encouraging stronger public reactions. His remarks became part of a much larger national conversation rather than the sole focus of it. Even days later, clips from his segment continued circulating online, generating new waves of discussion every time they reached different audiences. The media landscape reflected just how divided basketball fans had become. Some commentators defended Reese's confidence as an essential quality shared by countless legendary competitors throughout sports history. Others maintained that comparisons involving Michael Jordan inevitably invite intense analysis because of his unique accomplishments. Those contrasting viewpoints produced compelling discussions, but they also ensured the controversy remained alive long after the original headlines appeared. Every fresh opinion seemed to create another cycle of passionate responses. Meanwhile, players and coaches across the basketball world continued emphasizing professionalism, preparation, and respect whenever they addressed questions about the situation. Most chose careful language, avoiding unnecessary escalation while acknowledging the intense public interest. Their balanced responses highlighted the difference between measured professional perspectives and the emotional debates dominating social media. Yet, even those cautious comments were interpreted differently by fans searching for hidden meanings, proving how invested audiences had become. Many analysts also pointed out that the controversy reflected the WNBA's rapidly expanding influence. Growing television audiences, increased national coverage, and stronger fan engagement meant even off-court conversations could dominate sports headlines for days. Some believe this represented tremendous progress because more people were paying attention than ever before. Others worried that sensational discussions risked overshadowing the remarkable basketball performances taking place throughout the season. Both viewpoints gained significant support, illustrating the complexity of the league's evolving public profile. As attention gradually shifted toward upcoming games, one reality became impossible to ignore: the discussion surrounding Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and Stephen A. Smith had permanently raised expectations for every future headline involving the league's biggest stars. Fans continued watching closely, media outlets remained eager for the next development, and social media stood ready to amplify every new opinion within minutes. Yet the biggest question still remained unanswered. Would the story finally settle? Or was one final twist about to change the entire conversation once again? The biggest surprise wasn't that the debate became emotional. It was that it kept evolving long after the original comments had already been discussed from every possible angle. What began as a conversation about Angel Reese, Michael Jordan, and Stephen A. Smith gradually transformed into something much larger. It became a reflection of how modern sports conversations unfold, where a single viral clip can spark days of headlines, countless opinion pieces, and millions of passionate reactions before the full context reaches every viewer. As the season continued, every appearance by Angel Reese attracted renewed attention. Cameras followed her closely, reporters searched for fresh comments, and fans analyzed every interview, hoping to find another headline. Yet much of the public discussion centered not on her on-court performance, but on the expectations surrounding one of the WNBA's most recognizable personalities. Some believe the intense scrutiny came with becoming a superstar. Others argued the conversation had drifted too far away from basketball itself. Caitlin Clark remained connected to the story as well, even without directly participating in the original comparison. Her performances continued generating headlines, and many fans inevitably contrasted her path with Reese's. Some observers argued these constant comparisons unfairly reduced two outstanding athletes to opposing symbols in an online rivalry. Others believe public debate between rising stars is a natural part of sports culture. Whatever the perspective, both players remained under extraordinary pressure as every game unfolded beneath an ever-brighter spotlight. Stephen A. Smith's commentary also continued resurfacing across television, podcasts, and social media. Some viewers praised his willingness to offer a direct basketball opinion, while others believe the conversation demonstrated how quickly strong media personalities can influence public narratives. His remarks became one piece of a much larger discussion about confidence, criticism, expectations, and the role of sports media in shaping public perception. Even weeks later, clips from the segment still appeared in new conversations, proving the topic had lasting impact. Perhaps the most unexpected twist was that there was never one clear ending to the debate. No dramatic announcement suddenly settled public opinion, and no single argument convinced everyone. Instead, the story highlighted how different fans can examine the same public comments and reach completely different conclusions. In today's media environment, emotion, loyalty, and personal perspective often shape discussions just as much as the original events themselves. That realization became the controversy's most lasting takeaway. Many basketball analysts ultimately shifted the conversation toward a broader point. They argued that the WNBA's growing popularity means every major moment, whether on the court or during an interview, will receive unprecedented attention. More viewers, more coverage, and more engagement naturally bring more debate. While opinions remained sharply divided about the original comparison and the surrounding commentary, nearly everyone agreed on one thing. Women's basketball had entered a new era of national visibility unlike anything seen before. As new games replaced old headlines, the controversy slowly gave way to fresh storylines. Yet the questions it raised never fully disappeared. How should athletes balance confidence with public expectations? How should media personalities critique high-profile players? And how much influence should viral clips have on shaping public opinion? Those questions remained unanswered, ensuring that the next major headline involving the league's brightest stars would almost certainly reignite familiar debates. The story may have reached its conclusion, but the conversation was only just beginning. What started as one controversial comparison quickly turned into one of the biggest basketball conversations of the season. From Angel Reese's confidence to Stephen A. Smith's strong reaction and the constant comparisons involving Caitlin Clark, every new development added another layer to an already emotional debate. While fans continue holding different opinions, one thing is undeniable. Women's basketball has never attracted more national attention, and every major headline now sparks conversations that extend far beyond the court. Throughout this video, we've distinguished between confirmed public comments and online speculation. Social media is filled with theories, but not every viral post reflects verified information. Some fans believe Angel Reese's confidence was misunderstood, while others agree that comparisons involving Michael Jordan naturally invite intense scrutiny. At the same time, many people believe Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese should be appreciated for their individual accomplishments instead of being constantly compared. Reasonable fans can disagree, and respectful discussion is part of what makes sports so compelling. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think? Did Stephen A. Smith make fair points based on basketball history? Or do you believe the reaction to Angel Reese's comments became bigger than it should have? Should today's athletes be encouraged to express supreme confidence? Or do legendary comparisons inevitably create unrealistic expectations? Share your thoughts in the comments below, but remember to keep the discussion respectful and focused on the game. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest WNBA news, basketball analysis, and viral sports stories. We're covering every major headline, every unforgettable rivalry, and every moment that has the sports world talking. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.